thumbnail. I gotta change that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So, guys, gals, aliens, and degenerate crypto enthusiasts. So we had a nice little dip, little retracement there, little consolidation. And yesterday we gave you guys the levels. We said, look, if it gets a little bearish and we are going to fill this gap, not all gaps end up getting filled. There's some gaps that are down under 10K that never got filled, okay? So a lot of the times when the gaps form, if they don't fill in the next few days after the gap is revealed, then it kind of just is like it just goes. The train just kind of leaves the station, and Bitcoin's like, I don't care about your gap. Cool, you got a nice looking gap there. Well, I'm not looking. It's like, and then it just goes. It's off to the next one. So this is what happened. We did get though a consolidation down, but it hit the 382 and decided to just keep going. So we'll get in here a little bit. Like, we're gonna go into the chart here. This is the CME chart. So we were giving you guys a scenario as whenever Bitcoin decides to find a spot that it's going to bounce. Because look, we hit kind of a double top here. Little bit of a double top. We thought it was going to be a little bit more of a consolidation down because of the nature of the gap. So look, if the gap was going to fill, it was going to potentially fill right there. But you can see two different times here. You could look at this as a double bottom instead of a double top, because of the nature of the direction. Look at the bullish divergence that actually has happened here. If you look at this, it kind of looks more like a bullish divergence because it had that, top here. And then usually if the top was a little higher, that would be the bearish divergence. So I think if we would have had something like this, like we had the top here and then it ran up kind of like right here, we would have filled the gap. But instead, we did this. We've done a pattern here where we hit a high and then a lower high, and then we were able to just bounce off of this. And then you look at this and I start to think, oh, dang, that was a double bottom. That was just a fake out right here. It was just a little fake out, little liquidity flush. But if you look at the ETFs of Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, they're still ponying up. I was like, okay, this dip isn't going to really last very long because guess what? Ethereum ETF inflows yesterday was at $324 million for BlackRock alone. And then you got to look at the day before on the 22nd, on Tuesday, was $426 million. And then Fidelity ended up, oh, that's cool. They put the logos on there now. That's new. So this is where you could actually see the big money flowing into the two biggest crypto ETFs on the planet right now. And so this is really fascinating. You can see that they actually, Bitcoin was having a little bit more sell pressure than Ethereum. This is why we're actually seeing Ethereum right now going up. We're starting to see Ethereum pull another 3%. We're above the EMA ribbon on the 4-hour, looking super, super bullish. And you can see that we are eyeing that previous resistance right here from January and December. And this is my price target right here for the 1618 of the brand new all-time high for Ethereum. So many people thought that was not going to happen, but it was just bound to happen, especially with so much market dominance on Bitcoin and so much attention on Bitcoin that it's inevitable for this liquidity and money and the institutional adoption to start going into the smart contract platform of the world. So this is, I think, what's coming down the pipe here, why we're starting to see a lot of that money flow into Ethereum. And you can see here, like BlackRock over the past couple months, probably for this whole year and a half, 2 years, they've been buying and scooping up Ethereum. Also, World Liberty Financial, which is the Trump family's DeFi protocol, where they have their own stablecoin USD1. They are buying certain altcoins like Ondo and Mantle and Tron and Ethereum being the top one. They hold, and they're staking all of this stuff, and they're holding a lot of stables. And guess what protocol they're using to stake all this stuff? They're using Aave. And this is where we get into kind of what Virtual Bacon is saying. He's like, look, Ethereum's is nearing all-time highs. And so he's looking at 10 different altcoins that he thinks are going to explode. And I went through this a little bit, but we were going to go through it together. And this is what I was really actually focusing on, is the same thing that I've been saying, is that I think the legacy DeFi stuff is going to pump. And he says Uni, Link, Curve Finance, Compound. He's forgetting to mention Aave. So I think this list is great because it is those legacy DeFi protocols that are on Ethereum. But we have to point out the fact that Aave is actually sitting in a really, really bullish pattern right now. And if you're looking at this on the weekly, you look at this on the weekly, and it just looks like this thing is going to break out of a cup and handle pattern going up to $777, the magic number. And you can look at this by the RSI. You can see like where we could be. It all depends on how we are going to, react with an Ethereum all-time high, and the nature of institutions picking certain protocols and DeFi protocols to help them get on chain. And who's going to be doing that? Well, I mean, if World Liberty Financial, one of the bigger institutional level DeFi protocols, that is ran by the Trump family, which if you've been under a rock, the Trump we're in a Trump administration right now, and they've been bullish on crypto and implementing ways that they're going to have. Obviously, they have a stable coin now. They're minting the stables on Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and another protocol that I can't think off the top of my head, but those are at least the main two. So, and then while all this is happening, we're still bullish Bitcoin, Ethereum, the Solana ecosystem, even though we've had the pump.fun coin be just kind of a disaster, and it's actually cost a lot of people a lot of money, because that ICO, whatever the price that you think you got is not going to be any better than whatever prices that other wallets and people who are in that particular launch are getting, and it's not going to fare well with people that ended up buying this thing at a $4 billion valuation, and now I think it's down into, because if we type in pump. Go on Binance, and you can see that the valuation launched up at like $4 billion, and now it's down into we're gonna have to pull this up. We got to pull this up. So if we look at the pump token, and I bet, and we're gonna talk about how if someone mentions something like Vine, like who mentioned Vine? Elon mentioned Vine in a post and said we need to bring back Vine, but AI Vine or something like that. And so I would imagine that probably over the past, over the past 6 hours, 24 hours, we had the Vine coin go up 83%, 68%. So that's a thing. I was like, right when I saw the post, I was like, I'm not even going to go and look or even try. It's already too late. Because people are that quick, because there are some people that literally like don't sleep. They look like the Wojak blasted eyes caving into the back of their head type person, where they're trying to wait literally and not sleep for the moment that someone posts something like that, so then they can go and raid the coin or go see whatever coin is launching. I don't like to trench like that. That is over time. You just don't feel very well. You think you're going to make progress, but really you end up just having to catch up on a lot of sleep. You end up kind of turning into a crazy person because you need sleep. You need to take care of yourself. You need the sun to hit your face. You cannot be in the basement, in the trench for too long because it will affect you. 100% it will affect you massively. So now, as you can see, the pump token on people thinking that when it was going to release at a $4 billion valuation, I don't think that was not the case. If this is the right liquidity pool, the liquidity is 15 mil, market cap is now sitting at 1 billion, and it was promised to be at a 4 billion launch valuation, and it actually launched at 2.4, and yeah, so I mean it kind of just took a bit of a plunge. So it's the 15th or the 14th or the 15th is when we had the launch here, according to this chart. And then now we're sitting on the 24th, Thursday, and it's looking a little eesh. This is why I just don't like getting involved in this stuff. You know, I made a point the other day. I was like, you're not going to see me shilling a bunch of new stuff. I'm not going to get convinced by a project to like pay me money to shill like something that I feel like is not sustainable, or something that I feel comfortable promoting on a channel that I could be, you know, getting thousands of views or however many people are going to be seeing this content. And I'm just like shilling something just because I got paid for it. And, you know, I'm just kind of caving into the formula here, you know? It's like, this, I don't want to do that, you know? I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. So you'll see me talking pretty much about the same stuff that I've always talked about. And you'll also go back and you'll see where I've tried to, you know, I'll mention about a particular coin, but I tell you right off the bat, I'm like, I know that what I'm doing right now is a massive gamble and it's not guaranteed. There was something called Dougal. It was part of the boys club thing, and it was a coin on Solana. And I was like, hey, it looks good, but it also could 100% rug, and I can get completely destroyed, you know? So in doing that, I was like, here's the thing, and it ended up rugging. It ended up just completely going to zero, and so that's what. And that happens to you enough times, you end up starting to just narrow it down and keep it simple. And a lot of the time, and then this is why I like Virtual Bacon go back and saying, hey, you know, legacy ETH stuff is going to be the play. And it's less risky. It's not as much risk. It still has risk, but it's like, you know, getting into something like, for instance, you know, the pump launch. It doesn't look too good. And Headband said he's watching on Twitch. Shout out to all the people that are watching on Twitch. Headband's great. Headband is honestly a super soldier of content watching, because he will watch on X, he will watch on Twitch, he will watch on YouTube. He hasn't watched on Rumble yet, but he's like giving me metrics and traction across the whole entire www, so the World Wide Web, aka Super Soldier. But you guys are awesome. But everyone in here is a super soldier. We're gonna give everyone a major shout out today. AI Griff, you are a mega super soldier. Wily Coyote, super soldier. Eric Espacino, I'm not gonna call you Espino ever again. You're forever Eric Espacino, because it sounds like a famous Mexican, music artist or something. Who else do we have in the chat? Let's go. Yeah, Headband is a great Headband is a great reed strain. That's funny. That's a strain? I didn't realize that was a strain. There's so many funny names for strains. They get out of hand. Skywalker. There's like Skywalker OG Chem Dust, Rainbow Snot. You're like, what is that? You're like, what is... You're like, OG Chem Skywalker Ranch. You're like, I want that one. Oh my gosh. But guys, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a nice little crowd on YouTube. People are interested. The market's going. The market is going. And I will say I was wrong. You know, I on Bitcoin, I was thinking if there's any point right now that it's going to fill the gap, it would be now. But if it doesn't, then then we're just going to be chasing it. We're just basically going to be chasing the price, you know. Because right now, if you look at the fibs, you know, we hit that purple zone 2 times, and then we got right out of it. You know what this means? This means that we are having buy pressure really heavy when we hit these dips. So instead of getting mad at people saying, well, buy the dip, because I know a lot of people get frustrated when they're like, oh my God, you always tell me to buy every dip, and then sometimes when I buy the dip, it just keeps dipping. So can you stop saying that? But if you can see strength in the dips here, and they just get bought up really fast, and the thing is, now that we have the institutions in, it's not retail that's like, oh, let me scoop up the dip, and it's barely even the people that are in crypto like us, like the smaller percentage of lower liquidity. We're not like rushing to buy the dips. It's a lot of it's the institutions. It's like BlackRock. It's the people that are setting up all these treasuries, all these companies that are basically becoming micro versions of MicroStrategy. This is kind of what's happening. So if you're wondering why, the dips don't really last that long, especially when we start to get into the next 3 months of this bull run, it dips and then it goes. It's like it kind of, and it's because the nature of trading, the exchanges, they're flush trading. Look, they flushed it. We talked about the range on Bitcoin and how a range was established with liquidations, and they quickly liquidated the longs right here very fast, and then now they're coming up to do a short squeeze on the high liquidity that's sitting up at the top. The exchanges are the ones that are arranging this, and then who comes in to scoop up the dips is the institutions, and hopefully smart investors like me and you, knowing that it's just the exchange. It's not like the strength is completely gone and now it's going to go to 112. It's like, no, it's just that they're just liquidating 50, 100x leverage trades and 25x leverage trades too, because when you can do it fast enough, they'll hit it right on those liquidation levels and cause a little bit of a panic. And then sure enough, we get price action going back to the upside. So you could see it. Here's the range. That was that range. It was just the range established at 116 to 121. It was boom, 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 boom. And then at a point, it's got to stop. At a point, it will stop, and it's going to make a decision. And then that's where you have to make a decision. The market makes the decision. Okay, we're going back up. Okay, cool. And we're seeing that we're going to test back up to the 786, which is the 121,000 that we hit the previous resistance. We're testing that. Once we test it, then I believe the next obvious level would be the 1618 Fibonacci extension, which is at $128,000 per Bitcoin. And then the next one is getting very close to 150. That's when we start kind of getting up to new market structure territory. And then I think really we need to then put our focus on, we need to be focused on Ethereum anyway right now. Because before you know it, we're going to see ETH at 6K. And you're going to go, oh my God, I still could have bought it at 3,500. Because you're thinking off the previous cycle where you're like, oh no, I bought ETH at $4,000 and I watched it go to 1,200. I get it. But guess what? All the Bitcoin holders had to do the same damn thing. And guess where Bitcoin is? It's at $120,000 after 13 years, 14 years. So, but I played a video yesterday on live stream that the Andrew Keys, I think was his name. He's the CEO of the Ether Machine, and they basically have the most bullish macro thesis on Ethereum and defended saying Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin, and it kind of always has. We just like to think about it in the inception of Bitcoin's existence compared to when Ethereum came in, and then we're comparing different market structures. Like, technically, in the bull run banana zone, Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin by like 150, 200%. And then if you go into the meme coins that are connected into the Ethereum ecosystems, those went up thousands and thousands of percent, like Pepe and Shiba Inu, Floki, the DeFi protocols that are on Ethereum. So Ethereum is going through growing pains, just like Bitcoin, and the fact that we're going to be now breaking all-time highs, I believe, with Ethereum, going up to at least a conservative case of getting to the price that we've been calling for the fib extension, which is right here. I'll show you. And we got Halloween in the house. Let's go. We got the ticker Bitcoin community in here coming in hot. And honestly, guys, you guys have been super supportive, and I want to give my gratitude and appreciation to the Sprotos and the Ticker Bitcoin community, because I think they do the best raw, organic, just shilling, rating, promoting, meme creation, artistic, the creativity, just all the stuff. Like, I just love it. They're the quickest, and it's the colors, everything about it. I just love it. It makes so much sense. And really, I've told you guys about the ticker and why I even like the ticker. Whenever I was trenching and looking at all the meme coins, Pepe is what got everyone super excited. I remember feeling that feeling of euphoria when Pepe and meme coins started to come back. I was like, oh, this is like Doge again. I felt it. I was like, let's go. And I remember coming across the ticker and reading, I was like, is that what that coin is really called? Because I was looking through a list. It was just like, what's on chain that people are looking at right now. And that coin popped up, and I started laughing. I was like, what is that? I was like, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 Inu. And then once I started to go down the rabbit hole, I was like, oh wait, it's connected to this backpack? Like, what the hell is this? And then it all just kind of starts to go. So I thought to myself, this coin is either going to be the best coin and funniest coin and in-game token of meme coins, or it's going to go to zero. It's either one of the two. So I'm kind of more on the side of it's going to be the in-game token, because it made me laugh. I clicked on the website and I said, oh, this is what memes are all about. This is what I think a meme coin project wish it could have as the lore, and just all that stuff. And it's just a combination of the things that I always felt nostalgic about. I mean, who else just randomly, like, if you're just feeling like you don't want to watch new stuff, you don't want to watch a new movie, you just put on like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and just like call it a day, And we all know how we basically during the Obama administrations and the 8 years of Obama is when some of us finally opened our eyes to the level of deception that we live in with our government. And the whole learning about Masonic stuff, or learning about the esoteric stuff, learning about how a symbolism, learning about all of this stuff, and our brains being cracked open kind of all happened during the Obama years. We needed to have someone who was very clever and deceiving to be able to then learn that you are being deceived. and then you can kind of wake up from the dream. And so it's all connected. It's all connected. So this is and then Sonic. And then you bring in Sonic. You bring in that was my first game that I became addicted to. Like that I just loved. I absolutely loved it. When I first played Sonic, I was like, this is my type of game. For a lot of people, it was Mario. Like, I did play Mario, but something about Sonic was like, woo! I was like, let's go. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. But all right, let's check on the trades real quick. I want to check on the trades. I'm about to make a choice here. I have this Bitcoin trade open, but I've already pretty much taken a lot of the profits off of it. There's only about $14 left and $5 in liquidity. Right now, Ethereum is looking like it's going to be performing very, very strong right now. And I think I might just like literally go in, right? Like close this Bitcoin trade, take all this liquidity, and just have one trade open, ETH. Could be crazy, but I really feel like because of the nature of the ETFs, like, I mean, look at this. Like it's crazy. The Ethereum ETFs are finally starting to look exactly like I predicted months ago. Months and months and months ago when this was saying zero. All of this was saying zero. There was not a buyer in sight. And now look at this. Millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I think if ETH is literally going to do what Bitcoin did when Bitcoin's ETF started to get millions and millions of dollars on the daily, this is how institutions are going to run this B up to freaking $10,000. Now let's go into the news. We covered some of the charts, we covered some of the TA. We're going to go back into the altcoins, and then we're going to get in a bit of the trench. We'll show you some of the meme coins. We'll show you how the meme economy is looking right now. We'll point out, we'll go on all the chains. We'll go to Solana, we'll go to ETH, we'll go to Base, and I will give you my opinion on what I think is actually maybe even worth looking at. We'll look at the liquidity. We'll look at, what people are talking about on Twitter, because honestly, at a point where you got to really be good at siphoning through the noise of what's real attention and what's fake attention to just get your money, because that's what's happening a lot on Twitter and what can get you very, very distracted, which is, stuff, coins on Twitter, All right. So let's, I'm going to go through the news a little bit. And guys, thank you so much for being here. How many people we got? Let's go. Okay, we're keeping them in. YouTube has been such a battle, but it's okay. It's okay. Like, I've been trying to get it to where YouTube has about the same amount as what X has. X right now, I've been pushing like an average about 50, 60. But because of the freaking Sprotos, like I said, and also just putting on the PFP, I want to buy this Sproto, by the way. Like, I really want to buy this Sproto. I hope no one buys it. Don't buy this, please, unless you're going to send it to me. Because this dude, I like this guy. And it's already helping my engagement. And, I've put on other stuff, and I've had my own face in the profile picture. But I think if you want to be part of the culture, you put on a PFP, but when you go on interviews, okay. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted, but when I think about stuff, I start talking about stuff, I gotta mention it, and this is one of my pet peeves. I can't stand it. I know you guys have things that bother you. It's the stuff that shouldn't bother you. It should be totally fine, but when when I see these accounts and they go on these interviews and they don't have the balls to just show up and just talk like I'm doing right now, it's like, what do you have to hide? I'm sure you look fine. I don't know what the big deal is. Why do you keep why is there just this giant section of the market where there's like, it's just a profile picture. But I don't know. I get it. It's part of your identity. It's your whatever, but holy crap. I don't know why that it kind of bothers me a little bit. It's only when they go on an interview. For instance, the Pump.Fun CEO, creator, Elon, why can't you show your face? What do you have to hide besides that you have the most controversial, really sketchy platform that you're running? So it's just like, come on, guys. I don't know. I get it, but also at the same time, I just have to be honest and say it bothers the freaking crap out of me. But I'm still going because I guess why? Because I'm not like, if I'm gonna hide behind the Spro, I would then just literally, it wouldn't be me here. I would have a Sproto that's like, which someone actually does have a stream like that, and I actually do kind of like it because it is one of the Sprotos that does a lot of dope art. But I don't know. I can't do that. Like I have no choice but to, look like a fool here online and in front of a bunch of people on my live stream. That's just how I like to do things. But I digress. That's honestly why I ended up liking the ticker even more, because I was interested, but I was like, I don't see a face to the thing. I just see these Sprotos. Like, I see these Sprotos, and I'm like, okay, cool. But then finally, you see more light. He did the fight with BitBoy, and he was like, okay, I guess I'm doxxed. I'm doing this thing. And he was already kind of doxxed. If you were like go through the pictures and kind of look at some of the memes that were on the website, you're like, okay, there's like some characters in here. And then Halloween, obviously, both of them, Halloween and More Light, they were on whose podcast was it? I can't remember the guy's name, but they were on a podcast, and yeah, it's just like to see more faces to the projects. And obviously when you do the meetups and and then there's like, specific, like say community meetups for ticker, you can kind of put more faces to the community and who does what, and I like that. But yes, also DMath is making a good point. That's what it's like. I get it. I'm not like, I know why people do it. It's for security reasons, obviously. Personal security worries. Some crypto folks are too often targeted, 100%. But also, I have this theory that like, do we have our heads that far up our butts that you think you're going to get targeted because you're in crypto and someone might think that you have $1 million? That's like anyone. Who cares? Get over yourself. That's what I would also say too, is like, okay, so if you weren't in crypto, you would still, like, if someone asked you to go into Entrepreneur Magazine and do a full article, would you not? Get out of here. Stop it. Get over yourself. 100% you probably end up would. You'd be like, yeah, GQ, let's go. Let's go, baby. Where's the GQ? I'll get on the cover of GQ. I'll wear a Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu t-shirt on the cover of GQ. All right, let's get to the news. All right, so what's the news? Well, we got this. This is interesting. I thought to myself, I really hope XRP doesn't dump on retail's heads, and then we have things like this happening. I swear, if you go back to my live stream yesterday through all the rants, watch it, because I freaking said it. I looked at XRP and I showed you the trend line, and I was like, it could go past the trend, obviously, but like in terms of fundamentals, and these people who you have to worry about and have as your risk, you have to have them on the risk, what's going on with this? You gotta pay attention to this stuff, because these people are why I like Pepe. This is why I like ticker Bitcoin. This is why I like open, circulating, fully diluted, all supply out, anyone's bag, go for it. That's what I like. That's crypto. And Kenyatta, I kind of am. I've dived in just a little bit to answer that question. I'm bullish Crow. I hold Crow. I actually just have Crow staked on crypto.com. But I have not dived into the DeFi aspect of Crow just yet. But we would like to. But yeah, this is interesting. I don't trust these people. I don't trust these big CEOs. I don't trust these big altcoins. Like, I trust like DeFi protocols tokens more than I do these big, like, super high valued coins, because these dudes don't care about retail. Brad Garlinghouse doesn't care about they sound like it when they're talking about it on the news, so then they can get people to buy the token. But the memes is such an easier way of onboarding people, and it's more fair. And that's what I think the retail investor needs is fairness. They're always talking about, how do we protect the investor? Stop these people from dumping on retail's heads when they get into the freaking coin immediately, and they're like, they get all the false promises of XRP videos, XRP to $100 because the freaking cab driver told me. And I got freaking Instagram video reels and TikTok reels of XRP Army telling me that that's a realistic price. Now, I'm not saying XRP doesn't have the ability to get to $10, $20 and still continue to be massively overvalued. But I'm just telling you my opinion that these altcoins, the big ones, you go to the big boys, they all have more counterparty risk than the meme coins do, and it's just a fact. And if you start to study the meme economy, you start to study this stuff, you start to realize that actually the true meme economy and the forums and all that stuff and where it all started, it all kind of started with Bitcoin. That's why people have trusted Bitcoin so much, is because, like, the nature of how it started was like a freaking meme coin. It was like a meme coin. It was like being in a cult little community. The miners and the people that were the developers helping. It was like this. It was a little, very much like meme coins. And the nature of how Bitcoin grew was all through its own grassroots marketing, which was from the people themselves, not from the creator. It wasn't like Satoshi was like, all right, guys, round table, we got to start, we got to do a massive campaign, we got to have ads and everywhere, we got to start doing that. No, it was like, we built it. The people that believed in it are building it. And that's what the meme coin economy is. And so you have to kind of make a choice on which one you're going to kind of put your risk in with these altcoins, because, for instance, things like XRP, Cardano, freaking whatever. I mean, gosh, like, they all have counterparty risk. They have counterparty risk unless they have made it a true decentralized open chart of a coin. And that's not the case with a lot of them. A lot of these still have unlocks. A lot of them are still going to have points where they have early investors that want to get their freaking supply. And they have all this stuff that meme coins don't have to worry about. Like SHIB, Doge, Pepe. I mean, it's basically open charts at this point. It's like, if we wanted to decide as the people to rally behind these particular tokens, there's not a Brad Garlinghouse or a whoever the hell has control over massive amounts of the supply. So I don't trust it. I just don't freaking trust it. Us, like, okay, cool. If you have millions of dollars, go to XRP. But if you got like $1,000 to invest, well, you better start understanding the meme coins and which one you think is going to be the strongest next Doge run. Because guess what? The people that were brave enough and had the balls and put some money into Dogecoin, don't tell me that Doge didn't outperform literally the entire market for a span of time. It 100% did. And it probably will again. Wait a second. Didn't we chart? Stop it. Okay. I got to point this out. I'm not trying to rag on XRP. I'm just like, because like I said, I still think it's going to probably go to it's going to go to $5. Like, I'm not, like, that's the thing. Like, I have all those opinions, and I still think it's probably going to go to $5. But I think that's it. I mean, like $5, I think that's pretty, from here, that's still good if you want to trade it. But I mean, if you're going to be a long-term holder, I would just watch out. I mean, you might as well just be in Bitcoin because we've seen how that went. You know, we saw how that went when if you got convinced to hold an altcoin instead of Bitcoin, and that happened to all of us. It happened to all of us. We all got convinced that it was better to be an XRP, or sorry, not XRP, or just to be in altcoins at certain points when dominance for Bitcoin was like at 70%. And Benjamin Cohen's over here like going, he's like, Bitcoin dominance, damn it! And we're like, altcoins. Yeah, you gotta be, and see the thing with SHIB, like for instance, yeah, deflationary. DMath is making a good point. Doge, or not Doge. Yeah, Doge was interesting because I thought Doge was like it's kind of like it's inflationary. There's just gonna be like tokens like out the wazoo. But I think that's the case because of it wants to be a payments system or rail. There's got to be a lot of supply. Like I said, there'd be a lot of different types of supplies and however. I have no idea when it comes to that particular section of Doge because I do know what you're talking about. When you just reminded me, it was like, yes, it is inflationary technically, but then SHIB is deflationary, I think, because Shiba does burns like I think on a regular basis, and I think connected with Shibarium. We don't hear much about Shibarium anymore, but there is a whole SHIB ecosystem of tokens, and then all kind of connected with what they do with the burns. So, but we should go into that. We should actually do a little bit more research on see which tokens are actively doing some burnings, maybe even buybacks and stuff like that. But this is crazy though. Like we charted XRP yesterday. Was it yesterday? When was it? Was it right here? We told you guys that it's probably going to go back. I even circled it and then I marked it right here. Yeah, because I was like, yeah, we were like, yeah, it's probably most likely going to bounce into the support. And well, what do you know? Holy crap. That was like on the freaking money. Dang, that's wild. That's crazy. That was like right. I said it's basically a cheeky cat, and that was what we said on Bitcoin. It was like, look, it could be like one of those cheeky cats, and we get a nice little consolidation down. That's pretty wild. But see that happened with the alts. It happened with XRP, not Bitcoin. I thought it was going to happen with Bitcoin, but actually happened more with a representation of the alts with XRP. Doing that cheeky cat breakdown. And let's check the dominance because I bet dominance now on Bitcoin kind of started to go up a little bit. because it was trending down really heavy. If you look at this, it was trending down pretty heavy. It looks like it was about to go into this range at 58%, and then it started to take back a little bit of the dominance, started to go back up, started to trend back up to 62%. ETH dominance really started to get back. It was like hitting 12%. But the thing with ETH dominance is that I don't think we're going to really start to see the altcoin season just yet until we get into 18%. So we got to be like 18% ETH dominance right here. And then also that's going to signify the full breakout of the total 3, which is going to go to 1.3 trillion. And then we got the total cryptocurrency market cap that's on its way to hit, if you're looking at the weekly chart, is 7 trillion. So 7 trillion is the call for the breakout for the cup and handle of the total cryptocurrency market cap at $7.4 trillion. Eventually, I think leading into quarter 1 and 2 of us getting to like about 20 trillion. And because of the nature of the stable coins. And so why does this all why do I point this up? Why do I point this out? Why is this important? Because if you look at something as simple as just the gold chart, you look at the gold chart on the weekly, and you can see the same pattern. So if gold had been the leading indicator for hard assets and assets risk on and getting out of the dollar and dollar devaluation, then this is what the cryptocurrency markets are going to look like, are going to mirror. So, and Bitcoin, because Bitcoin on this same type of macro structure looked like this. It looks like this. It's the same freaking chart. It's the same chart. Then you look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, and it's the same freaking chart. It's the same chart. This is amazing. This means that macro technical analysis is your best friend. And a lot of the times, the short-term price action will distract you from this because it makes you look too much into this. Like you look too much into this and you're going to think too much. But then when you start to look at it like this, you're like, whoa. There's a trend here. I'm starting to see a trend line. You got a trend line right here, you know? And this is where you start to think that that's how the market gets to freaking $20 trillion value, because of the nature of the freaking trend. So I think this is just, we're still in such a beautiful time to be accumulating, analyzing your portfolio, figuring out where you want to keep kind of stacking up. What's your plan for taking profits? How are you going to allocate certain stable coins to different DeFi protocols so then you can earn yield all through different volatility? I mean, there's this is what we have to start looking at, and we have to start looking like, what are we going to do with our portfolio? Are we going to narrow it down to about like 10, what? We just going to narrow it down to about 10 coins? Yes. So this is what I'm doing. I'm narrowing it down and keeping it very, very simple. I want to have ETH. I want to start accumulating Bitcoin back, because I told you guys I sold like most of my Bitcoin. And that's okay, because my average price wasn't that great anyway. So if I believe that Bitcoin is going to continue to be that store of value, like it's shown it has over the past 13 years, 14 years, then I'm still comfortable using that as like a crypto savings account. And so that should be a good, at least, allocation of your portfolio, because it has shown that strength. And then Ethereum, this whole live stream has been started with the thesis of why Ethereum is bullish and why institutions are buying so much of it now for the servicing of the ETFs, because it's a staking. They want that sweet yield. They want on-chain sweet liquid yield. It's liquid. A lot of this Ethereum staking is liquid now. It never was. But then once it actually became proof of stake fully, and then all of these different DeFi protocols on top of Ethereum made it to where you can just like stake and get an SPL token, and then you get the you get the staking token represented in your value of ETH, and all you have to do is just swap it back, and then you get the value. Liquid staking. Imagine liquid staking ETFs on Ethereum being serviced to all these institutions. That's why you need to think Ethereum to 10K, and that being bearish, because it could at the point of growth of what happened with Bitcoin, with the ETFs being flown in millions and millions of dollars, it went up 83% from that point. And then now, if you think go from the all-time high, it went up 150% since the launch of the ETF. And you're telling me we can't hit an ETH all-time high with that same inflow? You're out of your mind. And every single influencer or person on this freaking timeline that said that should be questioned and should be put to the test. Because I can't tell you how many people I saw on this timeline screaming from the top of their lungs that ETH is dead, it's dead technology, swap into whatever. All the while, the biggest money managers in the world are buying Ethereum. And I'm supposed to listen to you? I'm like, what is going on? So focus. Stop listening to people that don't even, they're not financial advisors. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. This is entertainment. This is to get you to go down the rabbit hole and start to think about having a plan. I'm not even telling you to buy Ethereum. I'm just saying study it and then make your choice. While you got different influencers on here that on the daily are showing you that this particular token's going to be the next 100x, how about they just show up and just tell you the truth? That this coin that I'm promoting, I got paid 10K to promote it. It could go to zero. What they should be doing is saying Ethereum is being bought up by the millions and millions of dollars on the daily by institutions, and you got convinced to sell it. That's what these people should be telling you. But I digress. You can see that it makes me frustrated, because it's like, while I'm over here with like I got solid people that I think tune into this channel and follow what I'm doing, and we have fun. We're trying to build up a fun community here. And then I just feel bad for all those other people that follow these accounts and end up getting convinced to think that they're smart. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because these accounts have like thousands and thousands of people following them. And it's like, I feel like it's irresponsible. It's 100% irresponsible. Just selling false promises constantly. I ain't going to sell you no damn false promise. I'm just going to tell you, this is my thesis. This is what I think is happening here. And this is how I'm positioning myself in the market. And it's pretty, and you could say it's pretty boring. I mean, you could say, okay, Pepe, like cool, like who cares? There's Peasy, Apu, and Flog, or any other Pepe derivative. Okay, cool. I don't care. I have my reasonings. But I will say, hey, if you want to go and do Apu, go for it. That's great. That is fine. I'm not gonna. Shout out to the Poo community. But I just have this more of a thought process for institutions buying the top traded meme coins. They're not like gambling on the low caps and the derivatives. They're going to go to what the exchanges have massive supply of. I could be wrong, but it's happening right now. And I've explained it in terms of if you watch what the exchanges hold and what they do campaigns on the most for, it's coins like Floki. They do campaigns for that. They post memes about Floki and Pepe and Doge and Shib. All these kind of like legacy coins that have been established, about 2, almost 3 years old now, a lot of them. This is just like, it's the writing on the wall for me. And it takes off the risk a little bit to think, okay, should I put a little bit in this? And you can, that's fine. Like there is still potential. It's like, I'm not saying that like, oh, all these are going to go to zero because everyone's going to buy Pepe. It's obviously like that's why the market is the way that it is. But you don't have unlimited capital. I know you don't. You got a certain amount that you're going to allocate. So you got to make a choice, and so you have to figure out where your money's going to go, because you can't have $50. Like if you have $2,000 to invest and you put $50 and spread it across 50 tokens, that's not going to really do it. I'm sorry, but it's not. Because that's, I think, some of the mentality is that like, oh, I need to get this. I need to buy some of that. Oh, I need to buy this. Oh, someone told me I need to get, I'm going to put $25 in there. No, if you just stacked like the Doge people did and like the Shib whales did, just like conviction to the max, those people are millionaires now. Especially the people that just were like delusional. And luckily they ended up picking the thing that was like the pick. And a lot of it was freaking grassroots. A lot of it was grassroots. So I believe that is kind of the nature of what just the Pepe token that is getting that action, is getting that liquidity, the trading volume, the holders, all that stuff. And I want to keep it simple. I just want to keep it simple. And so there, and that's the thing. Like I will talk about stuff that I don't hold. Like I don't hold Mog. I don't hold Bobo. But I realize the chart's bullish and the community is very loud. But I will tell you, like I hold Pepe. I hold Ticker Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I keep it pretty Wojak. I like having a little bit of Wojak. I keep it pretty simple. I keep it very simple, because I think once you just get sized into something, it helps you kind of sleep at night a little bit. Like imagine just having like, too many coins to keep track of. And like I go to bed pretty good at night knowing that like I made a choice, and I'm like, I'm just going to stick with these, and these feel good. These feel good for me. And you can find a place to be like that in your crypto journey and portfolio, and I guarantee you're probably going to have a lot less stress. Doesn't mean you're not going to still have some stress when it comes to the nature of what happens with the volatility of these, of the markets. That you're going to experience dips. You're going to feel pain. Look at this chart. Pain, but also reward. You have pain all in here, and then you have reward. And you have to be able to go through the pain to access the reward, which a lot of tokens don't have this chart. This is why I mentioned this chart. That's why I actually have a lot of these charts like this. No meme coin chart is created equal. Not all of them do this. Not all of them do this. They don't all do this. Even this one still kind of wasn't as strong. Bobo, wasn't really as strong as these, but look, I mean, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all-time high hit on Mog. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all-time high hits on Pepe. 1, 2, 3 all-time highs on Bitcoin, and you can see where it tried to do it. It was like pushing, and then boom, it had one right there. But yeah, not all charts are created equal. But if you have a meme coin and it's got a good chart, show me. I want to see it. I want to see it. All right, how many people we got? We got 157 people on X. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I don't know if there's anyone watching on Rumble, but I do send it there just in case. Make sure if you want to follow me at Dano Crypto 904 on TikTok. You can do that as well. Headband's asking for Solana. Okay, so yeah, the Solana chart we haven't pulled it up. We haven't pulled it up yet. So yeah, let's pull up the Solana chart. We did mention about the Solana ecosystem, how we noticed like when Bitcoin was going down and everything was kind of in the red, we had the Solana ecosystem was in the green. Like the Solana BTC ratio chart was looking really good. And if you're looking at Sol on, is this our chart with the cup and handle? Yeah, this is our like cup and handle chart. The breakout, where's my, is this it? Is this the one? Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one that has more of kind of like a clear target of where I think Sol is going to be going here. We got that all-time high test that we need to break out of this cup and handle at 316. And then once we do that, we're just going to be kind of in uncharted territory between the range of $320 and $900. So we just got to see what's going on. The RSI looks good. The RSI looks like we could just be peaking up, and we can see that last time we bottomed in these areas, look at the run that we got up. So if we just kind of do some measurements, you can see here, that's about where the RSI is. And from there, if we go up to a point where we start to get a little bit oversold or overbought, that is a 600% move to the upside. And if we did that from the point of RSI that we're sitting right now and was just about right here, and we go up 400, 600% move to the upside, that's the price, $900 per Sol. And so I would say that's fair from what the RSI is looking like. If we match it up and we say, okay, the RSI relative strength index, last time we were here and we had a bullish cross on the momentum right here, then we had some moves to the upside. And so we could break, and let's see if the fib kind of lines up with this too. We can pull it from, yeah, it lines up to that first fib would be the 1618. So when we break the all-time high, then the first, I think, thing that we would crush up to would be 436, and then these levels up here is what we would be eyeing for the ultimate breakout. And then if you pull it, probably instead of right there, you could also do it here. You could go from this high to the low, and that kind of gives us a similar little pinch here in that area. And still, yeah, the 1618 would be lining us up at $424 per Sol out of this breakout. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, Sol looks pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. Does not look too bad. But right now, the market today is favoring Athena. So we got Athena. Athena's up 5%. We got Bonk up 4.7%. We charted Bonk on the weekly and said that there is a Wyckoff accumulation happening. Once it breaks up into this line to test this, then the next target would just be the previous all-time high, which is right up here. And that looks good. Ticker Bitcoin's up 4.7% today. That's looking good. We're seeing kind of a distribution as well here, a little W pattern on the ticker. It's just probably chopping a little bit, and I think the next leg up is going to be that 37 cents. That's actually looking pretty good. Crow up 4%. That's also doing a kind of a distribution Wyckoff here, and we said the trend here looks like it was doing a bit of a double bottom, boom, boom, and looking like it could test up into those previous resistance levels. But remember, Crow from the previous bull market did really well, and a lot of people started using crypto.com. I remember BitBoy's channel had crypto.com as a sponsor for a long time. That's actually how I found out about crypto.com, was through BitBoy's channel. And so I remember seeing Crow and seeing that token, and that token went up almost 1,000%. But you got to remember what was happening during November 2021. Let's go and look and find out. November 2021, if you look, guess where the ETH BTC ratio was? Oh, my friends, it's right there. That's what we like to point out, is that we get altcoin season whenever this goes back up. We made this point of the 1.618 being the range of where we'll have altcoin season. And if you look at what these alts did whenever we had that BTC ratio at the point that it was at, and the market dominance was a little bit lower for Bitcoin, this is how we can get these similar runs up to the upside. And Crow could go up 400%. And then a lot of other alts are going to continue to probably run up that much. But what's going to be happening is that it goes 20%, 30% on the daily, and then it kind of cools off, goes down 10%. Then it goes back up 50%. You're like, ah. That's why it's good to just be DCAing. You don't care what the price is really, because out of nowhere, that altcoin that you just DCA'd $100 in could then go up 50%. And you're like, let's go. No leverage? Let's go. That's what you have to think about. Monero. We charted Monero and said the trend on Monero looks like we're just doing this swooping cup here. We got a whoop, whoop, swooping right into that trend of close to $1,000 Monero. If you're looking this on the weekly, this looks beautiful actually. So that Monero is looking good. If you're on the side that people after Bitcoin and all the profits that they're going to want to make, big money is going to want a place to privately have their transactions and their money, Monero might be a good spot to park it in terms of privacy. Then you got Optimism. Optimism's looking good. It's kind of like it's in this still accumulation range in this purple box. So on the weekly, if you're thinking about altcoins that you're like could be still accumulating at nice lows, so then you have a potential to get a good return on them. You want to look at some that are that looked good in momentum, still pumped when we had some action, but also had a clear downtrend with most of what the alts did. Went down 90%, 100%, and could it recover? And then that's where you're going to know if your altcoin is strong or not. If it didn't recover and it's in the ground, then you need to reassess. You don't want to become a forever community, Telegram community holder, of particular coins. It's like a graveyard. I am not going to chart that coin again, Headband. I already pulled it up once, and I'm like, I feel like you trolled me on live stream. All right, Eric Espacino just said that Hulk Hogan passed away. Man, okay, rest in peace. All the legends are going down, but yeah, I mean, you got to think these guys lived crazy lives. The fact that they're even made it to the point that they did is pretty astounding. These guys, a lot of these stars, you gotta remember they probably lived like, multiple lifetimes in terms of like the sheer number of things that they did and places that they traveled and tours, and especially like Ozzy, like, with Black Sabbath, like that whole era, and then his own era. and doing Ozfest and just having his family, the Osbournes, the reality show. I'm just think like it's just so much stuff. So pretty crazy life to live. And then not to mention being able to play that massive concert literally like right before you feel like you're about to go out, and that's pretty amazing. But yeah, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan and prayers to his family, and also rest in peace to the legend Ozzy Osbourne and to his family. So yeah, rest in peace. All right, so did I chart Zora yet? No, I didn't. So Zora is that social media token. It's like a social token on Bybit. Okay, let's see. On the weekly, let's go to the daily and see what's happening here. Okay, so we had 66%, 31%, 44%, 34%. Now 3% today. Excuse me. So is this the right coin? Is this the right coin? Yeah, Zora. Zora. So months ago, Base was promoting this earn with any post powered by Zora, and Zora currently has the highest creator monetization system on any platform. So what you can do is okay, here you go. How Zora works. I was about to try and explain it, and here you go. Here's a post for it. Every post you make becomes a coin, meaning it's tokenized and tradable. Your profile is also a coin. It's called a creator coin. Every post you make is paired with your creator coin. As your posts gain attention, so does your creator coin. All creator coins are paired with Zora. Creator coins capture the value of posts, and Zora captures the value of all creator coins. Okay. I don't know if I don't know. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about this? What's your honest opinion about this whole the tokenizing everything, which is meaning like a word or just a single post is a token, and then you can like have value behind your post. I'm like that's just like. It's just like the joke I made with Pudgy Penguins. It's like, okay, Pudgy Penguins, you're going to start making toilet paper now, and we're going to start having to use Pudgy Penguin branded toilet paper. Like, just give it a rest. I just want to buy my meme coin and call it a day. Maybe I'm just super old school, but yeah. Sometimes I think some of this stuff, I'm like, it's a little convoluted. But the token, this token, I mean, it's pumping. It's pumping. It definitely pumped. Definitely went up over the, yeah. Definitely did some damage for sure. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. Nice. We just keep getting people on X. Let's go. But not a lot of chatters, though. Not a lot of chatters. Make sure you let yourselves be known on X so I can give you a shout out. There is a video. There's still some news. I was kind of going through the news a little bit. Basically, the way that I go through, which is like a ADD monkey that's about to be sent up in space. Okay, so Da Vinci says the hardest part isn't buying early. It's surviving the shakeouts that follow. Only battle-scarred hodlers become the legends. And then this is one of them. We went into this. Ripple co-founder dumps XRP at the top. A wallet linked to Chris Larson moved 50 million XRP, 175 million to exchanges as soon as XRP neared local highs. So it's right at that spot that we were talking about. It's hilarious. All right, and then Alex Becker said, if you're scared right now, it's because you lack conviction. As BlackRock buys billions, and we are on the cusp of billions of users adopting crypto, It's just crazy to feel like you should be scared or worried right now. And we've had to make that, make that very apparent that we all got to calm down here. It says, grow a spine. It will never be easier than this. And I really do, I really do think that it is somehow easy, but we make it difficult as ourselves of what we want, what we need to pay attention to, and what is gaining our attention. Because someone said in the comments, it is a attention economy. It's all about attention. Even when it comes to content creation, it's an attention economy. If I can't get people's attention to watch my channel with whatever I'm doing, then I mean that's just a simple fact. It's like it's all attention-based economy when it comes to even just this content, and also with crypto. And that's why I've always made a strong case for like these meme coins of doing a really good job of capturing the attention. And these big companies would love to capture the attention of retail. But I think there's a way to do it. I think there's a certain way to do it. And I don't think it's I think it's very irresponsible way, with like how XRP army people are like telling retail and making videos of saying that XRP is going to go to $100. And then you do the math, you start doing the market cap and the supply, and how that is absolutely impossible for that to happen, because it just wouldn't make any sense at all. But that's okay. Retail has to... I'm sorry, but retail has to go the same shit we went through. Buying Cardano at 60 cents and riding it up to $3 and then not selling any of it. That's what retail needs to experience. They need to feel the pain just like we did. No, I'm just kidding. They need to feel the pain. No, I want retail to come in and make some wins. I want them to like mess around with Ethereum. I want them to like download the MetaMask. I'm old school. While all the other people are like trying to get new people to use the new stuff that's coming out, which I get. It's like the new stuff is for people that have already been in crypto and kind of understand the language. And retail's not going to understand it. They don't know what the hell we're talking about. So you got to bring them to the basics. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to bring people back to the basics, the OG stuff, the MetaMask, the Aave, the DeFi protocols. Because guess what? That's where institutions are going. They're not on SocialFi. They don't give a crap about that. They're just buying Ethereum. It's just so funny. That's why it's like we could make it so complicated and we could just be literally following the money. Follow the money. But this is funny. It's always when we said Jim Cramer just needs to be quiet. Jim Cramer eyes Bitcoin, Ethereum as hedge against 37 trillion US debt. Benjamin Cohen said, Lord Jesus, Satoshi, help us all. Please don't say anything else. And then I need your help. All right, so I need everyone's help. So if you're watching on X right now, if you're watching on wherever you're watching from, whoever you are, wherever you are, I need you to raid. MoonPay's this post, because let's go to the live, and let's go here. Post that right there. And there's something wrong. There's something wrong. So by the way, guys, if you didn't know, MoonPay has an app now. And it's really cool because if you have ever used MoonPay, you have to use your email, to on-ramp or to buy and to, sign up. And then, that's how it's being able to track your purchases or know like that it's you. And so whenever you download the MoonPay app, you'll actually be able to see all of the transactions that you did, the wallets that you sent to. It'll kind of just show you like a snap, the snapshot of like what you've done so far, which is pretty cool. You can go into your history I don't know if you want to do that, because when I go back into my history and look how many times I DCA'd in crypto and then kind of did something stupid with it, I'm like, I want to puke, but it's okay. Lessons learned, lessons learned. But yeah, I typed in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin wasn't in the list. Like, I see BTC, I see BCH, but where's ticker Bitcoin? As if for some reason you don't have the right Bitcoin, you're going to confuse people. You don't want to be. That's the main thing. And we're going to help Moon pay out. Is we're going to help. We're going to help them out. And so I think this needs to be fixed immediately, and we need to have the ticker listed, because when people are typing in Bitcoin and other platforms, the ticker's coming up. So we got to make sure this is the deal here. This is how you work for your bags, my friends. You got to make it visible, you know? But yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. And we gotta change this immediately. So and that's funny. Ozzy said, won't be long where the window shoppers will be stuffing their trolleys with crypto. They say, anything for the trolley, dears? And you pull out all your gold coins from Gringotts and you say, we'll take the lot. We'll take the lot. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do with my Bitcoin trade. I'm now thinking about it now because I was looking at the markets. We're going up. We're going up. I could keep the Bitcoin trade open 100%. My entry price is 112. We're now sitting at a fair price 118. But from this point on, if I were to let this thing go to, let's $200,000 Bitcoin, I'll make $200 in profit. That's not too bad. If I let this trade on ETH go to 6K, it's $168 in profit. Okay. I could just keep them both open and continue to scale into them. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm gonna keep them both open, and I'll just continue to scale into them. I think that might be a good move. I think that might be a solid move. All right, now, before we end the live stream, we are going to show you guys this clip real quick. This was actually sent to us this morning by Steve Randall. So shout out to Steve Randall. Sent us this video to check out about Galaxy Digital's Mike Novogratz, talking about how Ether has a chance to outperform Bitcoin in the next 3 to 6 months. Exactly what we've been talking about. This is why we like our community, because they just know exactly what we need to keep even more bullish sentiment towards the things that I think are going to matter the most. Let's go.
And his view on the Fed and just about everything. Joining us right now in an exclusive interview is Galaxy CEO Mike Novogratz. Good morning to you, Mike.
And also, just let me know that if everything sounds good and looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and run this clip. It's not that long, so we're just going to watch this together. So let me know. Put thumbs in the chat that it all sounds good.
The Genius Act behind us. There's so many things going on now in the marketplace around crypto, around Bitcoin, around tokenizing things. We just talked to Dina Friedman about that. We got the Fed and everything else. So let's start, though. I want to start on the Bitcoin front, because I think that that's still the barometer of just where all of this goes. We're at about 118,000, 119,000 bucks. Where does it go from here, given everything that's already either baked into the cake or not, given this bill that's just been passed?
Listen, crypto, is on a heater, in old school parlance. So many things are going well for it. The main driver right now is this plethora of balance sheet companies, right? MicroStrategy lookalikes that are showing up, not just in Bitcoin, but in crypto across the board. ETFs were a pretty darn good way to get exposure. There are some cryptos where staking and DeFi and on-chain yield will enhance that that total performance over time. And so it's the rage. And that's brought in at least $20 billion of new money just going. That's reignited retail fervor. The backdrop of all this, though, is a Fed who is being pressured daily almost by the administration to cut rates. And so we're in this very interesting standoff. Either Powell cuts rates and it gives a tailwind to the market, or he doesn't, and that pressure builds. And at time, he's going to be gone one way or the other. And it's been very clear that this administration wants to put in someone very dovish. I don't think Powell wants to cut rates.
Right.
I don't think he wants to be pressured. And listen, we have tariff pass-through just starting, and now it looks pretty clear that the baseline for tariffs isn't going to be 10%, but 15%. And so it's going to be a little bit more inflation pressure. We also have a lot of confidence that's come back after the big, beautiful bill got passed, right? So you got business confidence coming back. You've got the ability on CapEx to write everything off. So you're going to see some CapEx surge now that there's clarity. And in part of these trade deals, you've got a lot of FDI being promised. And so you could have a significant increase in GDP just from CapEx next year. So I think Powell led to his own would just stay put.
So you say stay put. You tell the president, stop. He's going to stop going after him. He's going to be at the Fed this afternoon.
This is going to be tension that's not going away. And I think that's why the inflation trades keep working, right? This president's got a dog, a bone between his teeth or whatever they.
But Mike, here's the thing. I could make an argument to you right now without having the name of the next Fed chairman that we already have a shadow Fed chair, that we know come May of 2026, there will be a different individual in that seat who is likely, very likely, highly likely to push for lower interest rates. Now, the question is, will that person unto themselves be able to do that? I think that's an open question. What do you think?
I think you're right. And I think that's why gold is breaking out to new highs. Silver's breaking out to new highs. Bitcoin is on a tear, right? The yield curve is steep. The inflation trades are working. They're going to continue to work. And guess what? We now have China joining the party with probably in my career, the biggest effort they've ever had at reflation. They've actually now made it part of monetary policy to reflate, as stated policy. And so I just think you've got the two biggest economies, one who's going to pressure rates lower, even if they shouldn't go lower, and the other one who said we need to reflate. And so you want to stay long the inflation trades. What did the Citibank chairman way back? You want to dance till the music stops. The music is still playing on these inflation trades.
So if that's the case, what could Bitcoin go to? What do you think is reasonable? What's the upside and downside case at this moment?
Yeah, listen, we're in price discovery in a lot of these things. And so does 130, 150, 150 seems to me a decent target just when I kind of draw funny lines on my charts.
That's funny, Mike Novogratz. That's where my price target is when I draw my funny lines on the chart as well. It's funny because I love that a lot of my analysis ends up being very similar to these guys that have millions of dollars. It just makes me think, I'm gonna be rolling in the dough here pretty soon.
We have seen sellers that have come in, right, and so it's not a one directional trade. There's have been some sellers that have come in and have slowed things down, but it feels like we're destined to go higher as long as this narrative continues. If Trump changes his mind, and says, "Hey, we've done such good work, the economy doesn't need lower rates," that would change my thesis. But until that happens, I think we're headed towards 150.
What do you make of some of the other coins? So Ether, we just had somebody on this week putting together the equivalent of an Ether micro-strategy of sorts in terms of a leveraged bet that other people are going to be able to buy into. Also, everything's getting tokenized. We talked about stable coins. Right now, if you could buy Ether or Bitcoin, which do you buy?
I own both. Listen, Ether's caught up a lot. It feels like if ETH takes out 4,000, it goes into price discovery. And so we feel kind of destined to at least knock on the 4,000 ceiling a few times. the narrative of Ether is really powerful, and the market was really short. And now we have not just, one, we have two major ETH treasury companies and another one coming, and they're raising capital every day and buying Ether. And so there's not a lot of supply of ETH. And so I think ETH probably has a chance to outperform Bitcoin in the next 3 to 6 months.
For more
Yeah. Let's go. I love that. And 2 different live streams. Well, I mean, all of the live streams have been trying to be bullish ETH, but I love pulling these videos in like this because it just gives a good bullish outlook for Bitcoin, but then also for ETH. And it's just, yeah. I'm really liking how the macro thesis is looking for Ethereum. And if all these people would just start to pull up the ETH BTC chart and the ETH BTC ratio chart and start to eye for these levels and think that once it's like up here, we showed you in the beginning of the live stream how the altcoins react to this switch in dominance and ratio. And so this is what we're waiting for. This is what we're waiting for. Institutions are ponying up, like we said. They're inflowing now into the ETF. Like we said, we start to see this. We start to see massive numbers like this. I want to remind you guys what happened to Bitcoin whenever we had that same play out. Now, we use the Bitstamp chart, I believe, because it's right here where we had the ETF get approved, was in January of 2024, the 23rd, right here. And it went up 93% in 5 months. January, February, March, April, or in 4 months, 5 months, went up 85%. But then to continue from that point to go up all the way 200%. So it's been up 200% since the beginning of last year because of the nature of the ETF inflows. And the only reason why it even stopped in the momentum and started going sideways here was because they were not flowing into it as much. And then they finally started to reaccumulate again and redistribute, and they did it here again, redistribution, and boom. And then this is what is going to happen with Ethereum. I'm saying this with a lot of confidence. Yeah, it's looking good. So I think that price target right there, I think we can hit that. But all right, guys, I think that's about it. We played enough stuff. We covered the news, covered the charts, and we really appreciate everyone for coming in today. Man, we had a lot of people tuning in on X today. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in on X. 228 people. Amazing. Yeah, the X algorithm is killing it. And so shout out to all the people that were also watching on YouTube. We got almost 20 likes today. So shout out to everyone who was watching on YouTube. We want to give a shout out to the top fans. Number 1 spot with 125 experience points was Eric Espacino. We got second place Wile E. Coyote. Third was Smathu P. I don't know which account was this. I can't remember. Number 4 spot, Crypto Hyro. Got Kenyatta, number 5, going down the list. AI Griff. John 316. Tony Trump. We had Free. Clean Living came in the house, getting some experience points. But thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. And I just want to direct, just again, your attention to the best way that you can directly support the channel. And that is to just check out the links in the description. We only promote 2 exchanges, basically. That's it. Like, I know a lot of people, they'll promote 7, 8 different exchanges because they're, getting the, offers or whatever, just like, get hit up all the time. But I just like to narrow it down because I feel like if I can get people just to focus on the thing, very simple things that I have 8 different things to choose from. I think that's how I've been liking to do it. So OURBIT and PHEMEX, that's what I've been promoting. So check out those links. If you want to, right now, there's definitely a nice sign up bonus for PHEMEX, and PHEMEX I like to promote because it has inverse perpetuals. It's got a couple things that OURBIT doesn't have, but then OURBIT's got its own speed and different, kind of feel to it. So you get 2 different cool experiences. And so check that out. Definitely a really nice bonus on that, and also a really nice bonus for OURBIT for new users. All kinds of different ways that you can check that out. But yeah, best way to directly support the channel, because we don't have any private groups or anything that you pay for. Everything's free. So all I ask is you just use the links in the description. But check me out at DanoCrypto904 on X if you want to start to follow me there. This will get the most recent up-to-date info and news about whatever I'm involved with, whatever I think is bullish. I'll be reposting all the time, and also where you'll be able to see where I'm posting links for YouTube and all of those things. So with that being said, thank you. Love every single one of you. Appreciate you. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Have a good rest of the day. Peace.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworkers you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
hposni.com.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to show you a really quick metric that I found fascinating. So 41% of the people that have been watching this channel and actually liking the channel and the content have not subscribed. 41% of you, but I will say 58% of you subscribed. Amazing. You guys are doing awesome. But I want to say that the people that are not subscribed yet, please, won't you consider subscribing to the channel and joining the Dojo crew, where we are educating ourselves. We're in the markets every single day. We're live streaming Monday through Friday, and we're also posting content on a daily basis that is keeping up with these cryptocurrency markets. And this is where the money is flowing right now, guys. So if you want to get these updates and you want to be ahead of the game, I suggest you start subscribing and dinging the bell to be notified whenever I go live and post content, because you do not want to miss it.